What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video. Before we get into the showcase for Ash Crimson, I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick introduction here at the beginning of today's video. Now, as I'm sure you guys are probably noticing, a little bit different of a look to things today. So in today's video, I am going to be testing out the new PC, all the new hardware, everything that I've got set up over the weekend and over the course of the past couple of months. However, a couple little things I wanted to point out to you guys. So going forward, there are going to be major changes. I'm going to be sprinkling into a lot of my footage and a lot of my videos going forward on the channel. However, today is going to be a little bit of a test run. I just want to go ahead and test out using a little bit of footage using the PC for now, just so that way I can test things such as audio and kind of just settings in general. Now, I am still waiting on lighting and things like that, so you guys are going to have to bear with me on that as far as that's concerned. That is stuff that will change and kind of get better over the course of time here very soon, actually, more than likely by the end of the week. So kind of keep that in mind. I'm also going to be using, if I reach over here, show you guys. So I'm going to be using this as my webcam soon. So right now I'm just using a crappy little eMeet webcam, which, as you guys can probably tell, not the greatest thing in the world, but again, once I get a cable and kind of some of the adapters and things I need to get that set up, then things are going to be looking crisp. So I just kind of wanted to point those things out to you guys. So you are going to be getting a very different look in this video, or at least for the introduction in today's video, and going forward throughout the rest of the week, I'll try to kind of sprinkle in some of this stuff. Of course, we are getting ready and geared up for the launch of Season 2 here on the channel, so that is part of the reason why I'm doing this. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of the little nitty-gritty things worked out, make sure everything was sounding good, looking good. So you guys let me know if everything sounds good, primarily in the comment section, for those of you who care enough to help me out in that regard. I think I've pretty much got the audio close to where I want it to be. A few little tweaks will be made here and there, I'm sure, but in general, I'm pretty happy with it. Biggest thing, like I said, I'm gonna get lighting in, I'm gonna get a new webcam, and then we'll be good to go. Well, actually, it's not a webcam, it's an actual camera. It's an actual expensive camera too, so hopefully it works well. So anyway, you guys, I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit here at the beginning, just so that way everybody wasn't like, well, what's all these changes? He isn't even gonna mention it? No, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So anyway, you guys, we're going to be talking about Dark Ash in today's video. I know a lot of people have been wanting me to talk about this character, so we're going to get into that. But before we do, make sure, if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Alright, you guys, so let's go ahead and talk about Dark Ash. Now, I know a lot of people have been wanting me to talk about this character, and I want to go ahead and clear something up before I get into this. So I know a lot of people out there have been, for whatever reason, thinking that I, for some reason, don't like this character. I've never said that. I actually really like what I'm seeing out of this character's performance. One thing that people need to understand is whenever I talk about characters, there's two different things that I need to talk about and consider when I talk about characters. I need to consider what they mean for the game as a whole, and I need to consider what they mean for my account. And that's two completely different things. Because if you look at my account, and I know that a lot of people out there know exactly what my account looks like, but if you look through my account, I have no shortage of darkness nukes. I have plenty of options when it comes to darkness nukes. And I have said in the past already numerous times, I even said this on day one when this character released in like the first 2 hours he was out, that this character is a pure damage nuke, he's going to be an incredible damage dealer, and he's going to be a 100% a character that you would want if you needed any of those things. So with that being said, when you consider the fact that for my account personally, which is completely separate from how I feel about these characters a lot of the time, because believe it or not, I have to budget things as well, this character is not necessarily one that I personally need. However, it's one that I personally want because he's awesome. So I've been spending a lot of time playing with this character, and overall I'm very impressed, obviously, with the performance of this character, but I just kind of wanted to clear that up because for whatever reason people got that kind of twisted up, and I don't really know where that comes from. Maybe it was from when I did my poll video, which if you guys didn't see, link will be in the description. But when I did my poll video, I was doing some joking around about Ash and so on and so forth, so maybe maybe that's where that comes from. I don't know. Either way, I just wanted to go ahead and clear that up because this character is incredibly good, and I just wanted to make sure that I said that for the 100th time at this point. So maybe at this point someone will listen. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this character. So in general, when it comes to Ashe, Crazed by the Spiral of Blood, and yes, I know I said I wouldn't say that every time, and I'm not going to, but hey, it is what it is. So when it comes to this character, his performance really boils down to two big things. If you take a look at his cores here, this character is going to have time that turned into ashes. Now, this core is extremely important for this character's performance. Basically, what this dictates is that he is going to be able to deal darkness damage equal to 250% of attack to the target upon every successful attack. Now, of course, he's also immune to darkness, which is important. However, when you take a look at this part of the core, this is where a lot of this damage is coming from. I've talked about this already, but I'll kind of mention it again here real quick. We'll go ahead and pull up my waifu here, and we'll take a look here. But if we go ahead and we take a look at King here, you're going to see that this character is going to have a 30% chance to deal additional damage equal to 700% of attack upon landing an attack. Now, this is where a lot of the time, whenever you see King doing obnoxious amounts of damage, which she is fully capable of, and at this point still one of the top couple of damage dealers in the game, this character, this is where she's getting a lot of her damage. Now, of course, with Ashe, his is definitely different. It is worded different, it is structured different, but that is where you are going to be seeing a lot of these damage nukes doing a lot of their damage whenever you see a core like this. So that's something important to note, and he definitely has that in spades here. Another thing that's really nice about him is he does increase his active skill damage by 140% when Ashe is on the team. I'm not really going to pay attention to the part with Psyche because that's not really all that important to the discussion, because that's HP, and that's really not that big of a deal when it comes to his performance, because he's a damage nuke, and really that's irrelevant for what he's trying to accomplish. But increasing your active skill damage by 140% when Ashe is on the team is really, really good. Ashe is a really good striker in general for him as well, because you also are going to be able to get that heal that that striker will offer you. So in general, that's going to be important, especially considering the fact that this Ashe is very squishy. Now, we've already talked about BS Nameless before this Ashe. If you guys haven't seen that video, again, link will be in the description. But with Ashe, he is very squishy as an attack type, so having the ability to use that other Ashe, and honestly almost needing to if you're really wanting to use this character properly, then that's going to be big for him. The nice thing for those of you who don't know this, whenever you see these cores like this or these effects like this where they want another character on the team, you can have that character as a striker, not as an actual character, and you'll be doing just fine. So keep that in mind, you guys. That's just a little thing I wanted to point out. Now, with all that being said, of course we know that this character is a damage nuke, but there's one other big thing about these cores that we need to talk about if we're going to be fair when we're talking about this character. And it's kind of funny I worded it that way because this is totally not fair, but this core here, whoever balanced this thing, I don't know what they were thinking. Now, before we get too much into how good this thing is, I want to point out some people have been thinking this was bugged, myself included. However, it's not bugged. It's just that it's poorly worded. Imagine that. So basically, I'm going to try and kind of clear that up for those of you who are still confused on the wording of this. Basically, it's going to say it has a 20% chance to decrease the cooldowns of Ventos EX by 100% for 3 seconds upon landing a skill guard included on a cooldown of 20 seconds. So basically what this means, so Ventos is going to be your, or Ventos, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how you pronounce that, and I'm going to get yelled at in the comments, but whatever. So with this S3, basically what this core effect is going to do is you're going to have a 20% chance to completely reset the cooldown and have it off cooldown permanently for 3 seconds, is basically what that means. So basically it isn't going to have a cooldown for 3 seconds if you proc this on that 20% chance, and then this effect in general is on a cooldown of 20 seconds. Does that make more sense? So basically you have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown infinitely for 3 seconds on a cooldown of 20 seconds. So hopefully that makes more sense for people out there, but that is why this S3 is so broken, and that is also why a lot of people have said, you know, this character is so OP in things such as championship because he's immune to fear, he's immune to darkness, he's immune to all these things, and then on top of that he's a damage nuke, and he's also going to have the ability to basically just spam his S3 infinitely for 3 seconds, which is just stupid, you know, when you consider the fact that not just the damage there, but also the area denial, because it is going to be a, if you guys did not know this, he is going to have a ton of projectile based skills. So this character has a ton of the projectiles here on his kit. So this one here is going to be an area denial. And so really with this thing, you can kind of go in and you can just spam it and your opponent really isn't going to be able to do a whole lot against it. So on top of that, you're also going to be charging up your PG a ton using it. So in general, just a stupid combination of cores. So that is really where this character's power is derived from for the most part. Really, when you get into the skills aren't necessarily as impressive effect-wise, in my opinion. You know, when you look at this character, he is going to have pretty much just generally what you've come to expect with any of these uber tier characters in general. So there's really not a whole lot here that I need to point out. You know, whenever you think of these uber tier characters, of course, you think of characters that are going to have hyper armor on an interrupt, which he definitely has, including an interrupt that is standing or airborne, which is always really strong. And in general, this character, he's just going to have exactly what you've come to expect. There's really not a whole lot here that is too surprising. This character isn't going to try and be the flashiest thing in the world. Really, all this character is trying to do is go in and just do one thing. And again, that is damage. And he is going to be one of the top damage dealers in the game at this point. So I don't really necessarily know, because a lot of people are going to ask me kind of where he lands in the threshold or tier list of characters for DPS. I would say that he's probably going to be in the top couple. I don't really know exactly. I haven't seen any. It's very tough right now because everybody's getting different numbers because everybody's fame's different and so on and so forth. So I've been trying to kind of keep up and keep tabs on that. And from what I've seen, a lot of people seem to think that he's kind of in line with like the tippy top of damage dealers, or he is at the top. So it's kind of hard to tell right now. Once I kind of get a better read on it, or I get some more kind of science on that, I'll bring it to you guys. But, you know, based on what I've seen, just at S2, or at Awakening level 2 rather, this character is absolutely incredible for damage. And honestly, if you're somebody who just needs a damage nuke in general, or if you're somebody that needs an amazing darkness dealer, this is going to be the character that you would want. And there's really not a whole lot of other options out there, especially ones that are available. The only other one that would really come to mind that would be, you know, from the recent past that would kind of fulfill both of those rules would be a character such as SS King, but obviously she's not around right now. And then obviously with the Guilty Gear collaboration, we also had some really good darkness options there, but again, not around anymore. So, you know, with this character, really he would be the best possible option available to you right now, unless you're really starting to look into some of the Epic Quest bosses, which is a different thing altogether. But in general, this character is phenomenal. You know, this character is going to be uber tier. For me, I am going to be showing you guys some footage here of this character in action, and I'm gonna just kind of let you guys watch that and enjoy the music and enjoy the footage. But I just kind of want to give that information to you guys. Now, as far as the build that I'm going to be showing off in this video, you know, this is going to be the build in general that I'm using as far as the cards are concerned. Not anything too crazy here that you wouldn't come to expect when it comes to a character that's going to have a lot of blast skills. So that's kind of what I've been using and rocking on this character for now. In general, I'm pretty happy with this overall build, so not a whole lot to talk about. Now, one big thing I do want to point out here for the sets is when we get to the time attack portion of this, kind of like when I did that showcase video on Nameless, I am going to be using this set here during the time attack footage. So for those of you who are unaware what this does, that is what this set does. Yes, it's a collaboration set. Yes, I'm using it in this footage today. So I'm sorry for those of you who missed out, but I am using that. So that is going to be used in the time attack footage. Otherwise, the rest of this footage, like Guild Raid and the rest of this stuff, is going to be using this build. Option card wise, I didn't really move away from either of these two. These are pretty much what I've been using as standard option cards for him in this footage. So that's pretty much what I got there. Now, when it comes to imprint stones, it's a struggle out here right now for me when it comes to hammers, so I don't really have a lot of options. So I actually don't have him anywhere near his full capacity. Now, when it comes to stones with this character, he really wants stones that are going to help boost his overall blast skill damage. That's another big thing with this character. Now, for those of you who are unaware or haven't been around for a long time, I have the worst luck with unpairing kits, so I don't really have any unpairing kits to use on him whatsoever. So right now I'm just using Volume 5 attack stones. That's what I would recommend to you guys. So right now, as far as picking stones for this character, once you've awakened him and you're getting him, if you're wondering attack or defense, it's obvious, it's attack. That's all his character cares about. So don't go ruining your Dark Ash by putting defense stones on him for whatever reason. And then for your star and your moon stones, I would just go ahead and obviously use darkness stones if you have those available. Otherwise, it kind of comes down to whatever you have. So that's pretty much what you're looking at there, but you definitely want to take a look through some of these stones, because I believe, what generation was it? Was it, I'm trying to remember which generation had This one right here. Yep. So here you go. So this is going to be your Boss Syndrome Attack Circle plus Imprint Stone right here that is going to have your blast skill damage on it. So that is something that's definitely important to keep in mind, you guys. So that is something that would be very good on him. You could obviously go ahead and take this one off of here because obviously he doesn't have a lot of strike skills, and this kind of neuters his damage. So when you watch my footage of this character, keep in mind that I don't necessarily even have this character anywhere near his min-max performance. You know, again, if you want to go ahead and look through and find Boss Syndrome stones that are going to help you with your blast active skill damage, that's always going to help him in a huge way, as a very, very important thing if you're trying to min-max this character and get the highest performance possible. But in general, you guys, that is pretty much what we're looking at there. I'll show you my fame real quick, just so that way you guys know exactly what I'm rocking here. So this is going to be the fame that you're going to be seeing reflected here. Obviously, for my yellow fighters, I do have quite a bit because I have been buffing up some of the best characters in the game and the most gorgeous character in the game, which would be SS King. Get off me. So that is pretty much what you're looking at there. So yes, I do have quite a bit of fame here. But at the same time, I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of other players out there getting very ridiculous performance out of this character, regardless of their fame levels. So it just is what it is. It just makes him just that much more ridiculous. So at the end of the day, you guys, before we get into the spotlight later on this week, because I will be doing the spotlight on this character, I'm very, very happy with him. I think that he is absurdly, stupidly good. This character is the best damage dealer of these two characters on this banner. That is something that you should not doubt. This character's damage performance is going to be better than Nameless in a big way. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. However, it does require you to have the proper build, because if you don't have the proper build, then this character is not going to be exceeding his numbers in those ways. So kind of keep that in mind. The biggest thing, again, the stones, so that's important. So in general, you guys, I just kind of wanted to give some initial thoughts on this character after I've been able to play around with him for the past couple of days. I'm very, very happy again with this character's performance, and I think that this is going to be a character that for a very long time we're probably going to be seeing used. And yeah, rip to anybody in Championship with these two new characters, because I feel bad for you guys because they just are, they're something else, aren't they? So anyway, you guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and let you guys enjoy the footage. I hope you all found it informative. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the footage. Peace.